What's up YouTube, Mbuna Marcus here. Figured it was time to give you guys a fish room fish tank update video. This is my 120 gallon cichlid display in my living room. This is my main aquarium. The fish in here are all in here specifically for the color that they bring to the aquarium. I'm not going any specific species or going any specific theme. I guess the theme itself would be just a balance of color. And as you can see, the color really pops out and the fish look great. And a common question I get is, what type of light bulbs do I use? So before you guys ask me those questions, I'll tell you that I use ZooMed fluorescent bulbs. They're just regular fluorescents. It's a 4-foot double fluorescent strip that I have on the aquarium. But again, because the bulbs provide the right spectrum, the color intensity looks a little bit better than normal. The color itself is very natural. There's nothing enhancing the color of the fish. Typically, most people that buy or have a freshwater aquarium, the light bulb that they'll use is a daylight spectrum. And the daylight spectrum itself is a very white bulb. So what happens is that the white bulb itself will bleach out the color of the fish. So the fish themselves never look up to their full potential. So if you're looking to bring the color of your fish to their best ability, go out and buy a fluorescent type bulb or any type bulb that gives you a slight pinkish hue. The pinkish hue is the spectrum that you need to balance out the fish's natural colors. So like I said, I'm using ZooMed fluorescent bulbs, but any fluorescent bulb or any type of bulb that has that pink hue will work just fine. So other than that, as you can see, everything's happy, doing well. A lot of these fish have been in my previous update videos and are now just kind of growing out. So the ultimate goal here is to grow everything out to adulthood, and if that means I have to pull out the odd fish just to keep the balance correct, I'll do so. But overall, everything's moving in the right direction, and I'm hoping within the next 6 to 8 months the tank will be complete. So other than that, the tank's doing well, and let's go look at the fish room. So this is my fish room. To new subscribers who haven't seen it, this is where I do a lot of my quarantining, raising new fish, and periodically do some breeding. I did a lot more breeding a couple years ago. I seem to have gotten out of it, but at the same time too, there's certain types of fish that I want to keep their lineage alive, that I am debating on either continuing to breed them or possibly sell them out. So let's step in here. Let's start with my 135, and you'll notice that this tank is a lot more bare than it normally is. I sold a number of breeding groups out of the tank. I still have my Amazon Reef Zebra and a couple of his females, but I'm thinking about giving away a couple of the other females to another colony, just because these older females seem to take no interest in the younger male. Even though he's finally outgrown them, they've kind of given him a hard time, and I think it's left a bad taste in their mouths. So I figure if I remove them, that will lower some of the aggression in the tank and allow for a couple of the younger, lesser dominant females to move up the ranks. So other than that, the tank's doing well. I still got to move a few more fish out of the aquarium. But overall, like I said, really not 100% decided on where it's going to go and what I'm going to do with it, but I'm probably going to be leaning towards doing some breeding again. Maybe get into some breeding some of those really nice, intense red by red zebras. I don't know if they call them strawberries or whatever, but I pretty much did some line breeding a couple years ago, and I've remained to keep some of the lines. So I picked up this male, and typically the males don't showcase any orange to them. This guy's kind of pinkish orange, but again, he's a very good quality male, and I have some really good quality females to cross them with. So I'll be pretty excited to cross them and see where it goes, but other than that, not a whole lot going on in this aquarium. Right beside it, this is my 55 gallon grow-out aquarium. I've also decided to breed a couple species out of it. You can see my really nice German red male kind of dancing for the females in there. And I'm also breeding Nairi, the Victorian haps, in this aquarium. There's the male also. Not really showcasing his full potential color, but there's a few females in there, and he's quite happy. I was raising a lot of fry in this aquarium, and since I've moved them, and that's the thing too, if you're looking at breeding a bunch of African cichlids, the lower the intensity of the aquarium, the better it is for breeding. So here is one of my bleakeri growing out, doing very well. I think it's one of 2 males that I have, and I'm pretty excited with them. Not so uncommon in the States, but fairly uncommon still here in Canada. Like I said, the Polini or Polini, whatever you want to call it, is quite common, but the bleakeri, the large spot, is not as common here in Ontario. So he's doing well. Everybody else is doing quite well. Tank below it. See if I can turn up the light here for you guys. Sorry about that, I just couldn't get the light to adjust properly. This tank only has a 30-inch fluorescent bulb on it, so when it comes to intensity, it's quite a bit darker than the other tanks. Here again, as you can see, this tank is also quite bare, and I've sold a number of individuals out of it. I am raising still a few other OB peacocks. These are from a while back. I'm not sure how long back, maybe 8 months or so. But it looks like I was pretty male heavy, and everything's starting to turn out quite nicely. So as you can see, this is an OB, almost looks like an OB/dragon's blood. But I'll probably keep him around and possibly breed him down the road. I also have my red terror female. She's hiding under the rock. Maybe she'll come out for you. She's doing really well. I just recently sold off her sister. Normally when I have South American or Central American cichlids, I like to keep a reserve female on hand, just because when you breed them, a lot can happen. Either, you know, with the aggression, males' tendency sometimes to pick off the females, or vice versa. So I usually try to keep a female as reserve, but I'm pretty confident that when I pair up my female with the male, sitting in the 20-gallon over here, sorry for the light everybody, but you can see him, he's doing quite nicely. But I'm pretty confident when I mix them, I really won't have any issue. You know, if there is any issue, I'll have a number of hiding spots that she'll be able to hide into and basically avoid the male if he's too aggressive. That's what I did with my wolf cichlid. Same idea. So other than that, everybody's doing well. Not a whole lot going on here, but like I said, it was time to clean out some of the individuals and concentrate maybe on just a few key species. From there, I have my 5-gallon quarantines. You'll notice in here there's a lot of fry, and these fry are red tiger motaguents. I finally had my pair spawn on me, and that's great. That was my one male that I had basically bunked up with my female dovi. So he's a good breeder, and I took some of the babies out. I still have about half the babies left in their aquarium with the parents, but I figured I'll try to grow these guys out and see where that goes. Again, I just have a number of fish in quarantine here, some feeder goldfish for my marble sleeper goby. I'm not an advocate of feeding fish to fish, but in some cases you have a predator fish that is very difficult to get onto dry food or frozen. You know, you'll have to supplement them with something to keep them alive. So other than that, there's some Burmese border loaches in there, and I have a very small Hillstream loach in there also. But these guys will basically come out of quarantine. They've been in this tank for about 6 weeks, and it will be time to move them into their main aquarium soon. Also some blind cavefish. So other than that, marble sleeper goby at the back, and some Nairi juveniles that I'm growing out. So from there, we can go up to my 35-gallon grow out tank, and this has a lot of my wolf tiger crosses, and these guys are doing really well. I ended up selling off about half of the individuals. I ran an ad, and I was very surprised with the demand for these guys. Actually, I ended up selling about half of them in just a few days. So I decided to remove the ad so that way I can kind of keep a few for myself and grow them out and see where they go. So other than that, they're doing well, kind of skittish. But you can see some of the traits in this guy. You can see the red cheeks, and that's typically a red tiger motaguent's trait. So you can see there's definitely both traits in this fish, and I'm pretty excited, and they're growing really well. they've been, you know, they've been very well behaved in this aquarium, but I think it's because I have this, you know, bleaker eye. I believe it's a female that's a little larger and keeps everybody in charge. Plus I have this stunning OB that keeps everybody in check. So basically the tiger wolves that I've sold off, I've been told that they're actually really aggressive. So I may have been fooled just because of the dominance in this tank that keeps them under control, but again, typical Parachromis fashion, they're going to turn out real bad. So other than that, that's them. We'll go to the tank below. Just again, a quarantine grow out tank. This is kind of a misfit tank. Really don't have a spot for any of these guys. This is one of my red marble male convicts. I call them red marble because you won't see it in this one, but my other that I have in the tank, it's actually, the other male has a lot of red coming throughout the body, which is very unusual for a male convict of any morph. So other than that, just a few individuals. It's a 20-gallon grow out tank. You can see a lot of my what I call red marble convicts. They're all doing fairly well. And basically what I do is I sort them. When I notice that there is a female in the bunch, she goes down to the tank below. I'll turn the light on. And now that's really bright. See if I can tone it down a little bit for you. And you'll notice that the females in this aquarium, the little juveniles, are starting to showcase some of that red in the belly. So that's basically what I'm after. I have a gentleman that takes all my male marbles, and this way allows me to save some space and grow out the females. So as you can see, I have a number of them, and anytime any of the marbles up above start showing signs of female coloration, I remove them. So that's basically it in the fish room. Let's head downstairs. So here's the former Dovi's aquarium. As you can see, I've kind of turned it into a low-tech planted / community aquarium. A lot of the inhabitants are from my original 75-gallon planted tank, which I had no success with. Even though, you know, I had very high output lights, there was times where the tank was starting to take off and do well, but there was many imbalances along the way that just, you know, I got basically sick and tired of. So I decided to turn this tank into like a low-tech planted aquarium. As you can see, you know, I have Anubias, Crips, Java Fern in here, and I'm really hoping that eventually these plants will start to take off. I've noticed that when I'm in the tank cleaning it, a lot of the Anubias have already taken root, so that's a very good sign. Don't worry about these couple floating Anubias. I kind of, you know, wanted to attach them to the driftwood, but they became dislodged, so I will, after this video, put them back into place. But basically, you know, this low-tech aquarium has a lot of community inhabitants, and overall I had some videos of some of the species in here I did not too long ago. Like you can see the doctor fish. I've done, you know, the Siamese algae eaters species profile vids, and you know, I have a lot more to still go, but everything in this tank's doing very well. And I've kind of gone with a number of different hillstream type loaches. And I have to say that this tank is super entertaining. I had a feeling that it would be a lot of fun to watch, but overall I have to say that the switch over or the changeover has been a success. I've really enjoyed it. There's a few new tank inhabitants I'd like to throw in here. Like I said, I have some blind K-fish, and I was really thinking of maybe doing a school of about 30 Rummynose. Overall the tank's doing very well. It's very balanced. Gave it a good cleaning the other day, and it's funny because I have an Emperor 400 on this aquarium, and you know, that's the filter I used with the wolf cichlid. And even though the wolf cichlid, you know, could outweigh everything in this tank probably 20 times to 1, when I cleaned out the filter, I was just surprised with how much sediment and waste that these little guys have basically contributed to. You know, they might be, you know, you think basically insignificant, but cleaning out the filter cartridges, you know, they basically made the Dovi look like he was a dream. So just kind of surprising, but overall doing, you know, it doesn't seem to affect the tank. Overall, it's pretty pristine. There's a lot of scavengers in it. And like I said, overall very satisfied. So again, balance to achieve in this tank is not difficult at all. There's only a single fluorescent on the top of the aquarium. But I'm hoping once the weather changes and we go into spring, this tank does get some direct sunlight. So I'm really hoping that the bit of direct sunlight, you know, that this tank gets will be really beneficial for the plants. So, you know, keep your eyes on this tank. You know, hopefully in time it'll turn into the masterpiece that I want. But so far, so good. So the laundry room, where I keep my two 75-gallon aquariums, that's the last place on the tour. And I've decided to start with my wolf cichlid aquarium. And as you can see, I finally have some success after about 2.5 years of picking up this female and the male that never comes out for the camera. It took at least 2.5 years to grow them out to adult size, and as you can see, there's a lot of fry in the tank. So like I said, the long-term goal has finally proved successful. I'm very satisfied. Like I was mentioning in the earlier part of the video in the fish room, I had taken out about half the fry just in case. You know, my luck with American cichlids is that typically the female or something happens in the tank where the fry all of a sudden just disappear. This mother seems to be very good. It doesn't seem like any of the fry numbers have declined. So, you know, I'm probably pretty safe with keeping her in with the fry. But just in case I didn't lose everything, I made sure I took out about at least half of them. So there's a good swarm. I would say that I've had maybe a total of 400 fry altogether. If I can raise, you know, even a quarter of that, that would be very successful. But as you can see, the mother is just stunning. Very, very happy with her. She's very protective. You know, beautiful fish. As for the male, he never comes out. So that's that. And the last tank of the tour is just above. And this is my former 75-gallon planted aquarium, which is just a disaster. As you can see, it produces algae beautifully. And it's funny because, like I said, I have 4 high output T5 bulbs on the tank, and I believe you know, like a 4-foot T5 bulb would basically contribute to about, I think, 120 watts of, you know, light. So considering that I have 4 on there and that, you know, it's 500 watts total, you would think I would have been successful at growing plants. And like I said, there was times where it did seem successful, but it did fall apart. So you can see with the algae growing on the back, you know, it's healthy. I put a nice new circulating pump into the tank. This was from the Dovi aquarium, but I found that it was just too strong for the plants that were in there. And here you can see is my Atabapo female. She's beautiful. But again, based on the spectrum, she, you know, she's doing well, but when she was upstairs in my 35-gallon when I was quarantining her, maybe the softer spectrum from the low, you know, low wattage fluorescent seemed to, how can I say, agree with her a little bit more. She showed a little bit more of a red. And ever since she's been in here, she's never showcased it. So, you know, this variety of pike they call a fire pike because they can actually turn fire red. It'd be nice for her to finally do that so I can document it in a video. But until then, you know, she seems content. She shares the tank with a few different polypterous species. There's a Raphael catfish that never comes out. Here's my Ansor guy, just peeking his head out. But overall, the tank is just what it is. I've never been satisfied with it. There's no specific themes. It's just, you know, these fish are kind of here to go for the ride. They're all happy. Don't get me wrong, they're happy as can be. But I'm not as happy as I can be with this tank. So until I figure out exactly what I want to do with it, you know, it's going to remain their aquarium and they're going to remain happy. So thank you everybody for watching. Until next time, take care.